Welcome to the Monday Morning Wake Up Call with your host, Kerry, managing broker at Remax Elite, and Heather Holliday, your social marketing nut, talking about hottest real estate topics with a little weekly activity and motivation for the week. Good
Good morning.
day.
Happy Monday. I can't believe it's Thanksgiving week.
I know, that seems so crazy. This whole year has been, last year was super crazy. This year has been a little different kind of crazy, but it's been crazy in itself. But that's the great thing about real estate is it's constantly changing. I get bored very easily, so that's probably why I've stayed in this industry for as long as I have. Just
Right?
because it's constantly changing, you're constantly learning and growing and adapting and all this fun stuff. So,
Exactly. And the past couple of years, just with everything that's been going on with the COVID, I think it's been good. We've all learned to adapt and change and do what we need to do to get it done. But I can't believe it's Thanksgiving week already. And so if you guys are watching us, tell us where you're watching from. Give us a hello and a shout out and let us know who you are and where you are in the comments. And if you are going to comment, make sure you click on the thing to allow StreamYard to see who you are. That way we know who's talking.
yeah, otherwise you're a shadow person that just says Facebook user. And then we
nobody,
can't see till later when we go back.
nobody wants that. So right into it, update your online profiles. And
I
I
want
know
to know who did that.
I know a few people did because people were messaging, saying, "Oh, this isn't right," or "This isn't linked correctly," or whatever. So I know they must have been doing it. But I don't know if anybody admitted to doing it or did any hashtags and said, "Hey."
I didn't see it. So I know it's hard to see this. My biggest thing, like on Instagram and on Facebook.
Oh God, I hope mine is updated.
It is, but your stories. We need to
Oh,
see with your highlights and stories. So, and I have a ton of these. So if anybody wants the highlighted, I use Canva. So I have like a template in there for your highlight little covers, I guess it is. So
is
highlight.
that okay? So every time I look at that, I'm like, "What am I supposed to be doing here?"
It's really because stories are kind of like a 24-hour thing. And I like doing it on Instagram because then it goes over to my Facebook, whether it be personal or business. And then I can organize them over there on Facebook. But I do like it because what it allows you to do is kind of save, if it's a story that you like, add it to one of your highlighted things. And that way it'll always be on your like Instagram or Facebook. Instagram for sure. Facebook is it's a little different over on Facebook than it is on Instagram. Even though you can organize and stuff like that, it's super visible when you're on Instagram. And that's where it's great that you can constantly be adding to that. I have found there is a limit to videos for your highlights though, because I have maxed out of my Remax and my 865 Life or whatever. So I have to come up with new things if I want to add videos, or basically it just drops the oldest one and replaces it. But make sure that you're utilizing stories. There is a huge engagement with stories. There's no doubt about it. So do stories, whatever you do. I don't care if it's even a picture, and you can share a post like that you see, and you could share that to your story. And what I like to do is click on the little, there's so many features you can use in your stories, which will almost make it like a video. I feel those always get a lot more attention than just a regular photo or just sharing of a post. So I usually will go in and add like a Remax sticker or, some other kind of sticker. I always tag the location. And what's great is if you happen to be at a local business, tag them in your story as well, because then they'll get notified more often than not, if they're actually using, Instagram, they're going to reshare that to their story, giving you even more eyeballs.
Right.
So definitely, you're at a Remax event, tag Remax, whatever it is. I tell our agents when they're sharing their stories of a new listing, tag us, because then I get notified and I can reshare that onto our platform. It creates that domino effect, more visibility. So I would just suggest, one, making sure you're not a secret agent, and two, utilizing stories, highlights, tagging locations, and hashtags are huge way to grow your especially Instagram.
Well, and speaking of secret agents, so if you're out there watching, listening, let us know who you are and where you are. Um, and don't be a secret agent. But I'm always making a list. Like you have the list here. This is of what we were supposed to do over the week of the online profiles that you should be updating. And I always I'm writing. That's why I've been looking down. Like I've been adding places that I need to make sure I've got them all, because I was doing something over the weekend and I was like, oh my gosh, that's my old picture. That's one of the things I need to update. And then you start to rack your brain because you forget all of the things where you have your photo and your bio and your information or whatever it is. So
You may be surprised where you're at and who's pulling your information. And that's why I like brandyourself.com. So when you go over to your profiles, it basically will want you to see, like, it'll display all the places you're found, and you have to say, is it you, is it positive, is it negative? And that's how they come up with their scoring. But really, I have found, like, I am in places I never even heard of the website, but my information is all there. I have no idea how it's got there, but it's really enlightening to see where your information is pulling from. And you have all of these other websites that pulls your information. I know I see my name and my old address in Florida. I mean, that kind of freaks me out a little bit, but it's something I think we all need to know about and be aware of. And this is just a free platform. You can pay, and they'll help you optimize and all of that. But it's really good for free, the brandyourself.com. And then they give you a lot of different advice and tips on how to optimize these results.
right.
I did see there was a lot of places that was like nudity and sex on my things, and it was.
Oh
Uh,
goodness.
I'm curious to see what those posts were, but of course, to see it, they wanted me to pay, and I'm like, I'm not falling for that. Like, pretty sure I don't post anything like that. You're lucky if you get an actual picture of me personally. Usually, it's just other things, animals,
Right.
creeps, whatever,
Right.
scenery. But definitely make sure to check that out. Check out all of your profiles. That's going to help you. It's almost like a pet peeve of mine, because so many agents don't check that their domain that they're advertising actually goes to something that represents them instead of somewhere else. I mean, I'm always doing enhancing my website, so it's
Right. Right. Always make sure your website
that's
is going to where you want it to go. You can't just set it and forget it. You have to keep checking just to be sure.
right, because
So
you never know. You never know.
right. Right. So now what I think we're moving on to, what are the 10 things you're going to do consistently this year?
Yes, and these are just some ideas.
There could be other things that we don't know about, that you're doing. Um,
I mean, it could be anything. I mean, there's a lot of different things. I mean, what it is basically, I try to tell agents, have 10 pillars to your business,
yep.
10 things that you're doing consistently for your business to grow. So here are some of the more popular ones. But even if it's, learning Photify, using the first app, all of these different things, focusing on your sphere. But I have like internet lead gen, community events, getting those alliances together and partners, the different ways of advertising, whether you want to knock on doors, you're going after FISBOs, expireds. Like, what are 10 things that what are you currently doing, and what are you going to add to?
Well, and this is kind of where you reflect back to where the majority of your customers came from. So you want to keep doing those things. And if you were doing something that you weren't getting anybody from it, then don't do it. But keep in mind the things like radio ads or even podcast or live videos, you may not know that you got customers from that because they may not tell you, but it's a top of mind. It's a reminding people who you are and what you're doing. So those types of advertising things just add to the name recognition.
I mean, I feel the same way like AdWorks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that I do, but I don't expect anything from it. It's just the top of mind.
Right.
And the constantly changing that. So I do that for like the office locations. And it's just because they're driving by the office. It's just I don't expect leads from that, but it is the whole thing is just to have that constant in your face reminder.
Exactly. And there's something that's not on here, and maybe that's because it's something that you kind of only do once or twice a year, but client appreciation events or parties. And I have to tell you, we have 4 agents that I know of this year that are doing pie events. One did Saturday. She had about 25 people come through. One did yesterday. She had about 55 people come through. There's one tonight. I'm not sure. I'll find out from her. And there's one on Tuesday, and she had 85 RSVPs.
Is that Sue?
No.
No, because Sue's been
Sue's
doing it
tonight. So I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I've been in there when she's done those, and gosh, she's been doing that for years.
I know. Sue's is tonight, and I don't know. I'm going to ask her because I don't know how many she normally gets, but I don't want to reveal who had how many people, because I feel like if they tell me and it's in confidence, I don't want to say this person had this many or
But
this.
I think it's so important because it goes back to focusing on your sphere. All the big companies are focused and spending all this money on those that are looking to buy or sell, right?
Right.
So it's like stop spending all your money on those that are the looky-loos and potentials. Let's try to focus our time, energy, money on our current clients that already know, like, and trust us for their referrals.
Nurture those people. And the person who did theirs yesterday, who had 55, said this was the single best marketing event she's done ever. She felt it was, because you get to say hi to people, you get to give them a pie, you get to, reconnect. And I'm floored at how successful these events are, honestly.
I like it because every year it's like the kids, they come as families.
Yeah.
And you get to see the kids like actually growing up. It's really cool. So then the kids know, and of course the kids, every time they see the balloon, it's just like my kids, there's your work, mommy. I mean, they don't say that now, they're old, but
right, they don't quite say it that way anymore.
The same thing, they come to these events, they get to know their agent, it's fun to watch everybody grow up, and then some of they grow into adults and they're having their own families that are now coming, and as they're buying, it's just really fun to watch that, and I wish more agents took advantage of that. I feel there's a huge missing opportunity, and I'm glad to see more agents seeing that, and doing it and seeing that magic happen. So definitely need to go through what are your 10 things that you want to do consistently. It could be what you've been doing that's working. Maybe you want to pump some of that up a little bit. Maybe you want to take some of the stuff that isn't quite working and move over to something else that maybe you haven't been doing.
Exactly. And then now that you've had an opportunity to analyze everything you're doing, now knowing what what are you going to do more of? Are you going to do more video? Are you going to do more client appreciation events? I mean, do you do 4 a year? That sounds like too many to me, but do you do something like that? Is that a better way to do it? Or do you do more pop-bys? Or do you do some sort of mailing where they get a little something in the mail from you? Do you do more of that if it was successful for you? Are you going to do less of maybe one of the things that I dislike the most personally is internet leads. I personally have always done much better with people I know, or people that are referred to me through people I know.
Unless you're killing it on online leads. I mean, we definitely know some agents, and they know how to work it, and it does great for them. Me personally, I don't have time, patience, or the energy to that whole nurturing thing and knowing how far out. But we definitely know agents. And as long as you, I mean, the biggest thing if you're going to do internet leads is you have to have a killer follow up business plan to just internet leads. You have to have a phenomenal drip, text campaigns, video, like whatever it is, you need to have that follow up. You can't just pay for internet leads. They go in there, you attempt to contact them 3 times and they're useless. That's what I mean. We see that all the time. That's not
Right.
the case. It is a long term game. It's not a magic pill. And as long as you know that, I mean, the statistics are crazy. It's like, a 100 million online leads generated and only 6 million homes sold. So think about that. It is not what it was 10 years ago at all, where it was pretty even. It's a whole nother ball game. And you have to think of all of these internet companies that are really marketing companies, and people think the agents have control over what's going on with their listings, and you don't. It's a marketing website and they're just basically selling leads off the agents right back to them, and we don't really have control over that. They're marketing companies, they're killing it, but that makes
Yep.
it a lot harder for an agent to come up on that first result, for an
Yep.
agent to be able to get that online lead, because one online lead is probably generated on 10 different websites. So unless you're that first one and you're consistently, doing that, it is what it is.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I'm with Barbara. I'd much
Yeah.
rather deal with the people that are that, there's already that relationship built,
Yep.
because I think that's a lot easier even when you're, going in for that appointment. If you're referred, it's almost like a shoe-in. It's,
Yeah.
there's already that rapport and trust built into there. And I would much rather focus on that, more of that
That.
versus.
Well, it's funny. I just closed on a sale and a purchase with a woman, and there's, I think it's 6 kids total in her family. And by kids, I mean the youngest kid is my age. Um, but I have done business with several of the siblings and with their mother. But this woman had an agent, and for years she had worked with that agent. And I don't want this to sound bad, because I never tried to get her business. I always understood she has another agent, but I guess after me doing so much business with the other members of the family, when it came time to sell her current home and to purchase the home she just purchased last week, she called me and she said, "You've done so good by my family. I think it's time for me to have a change, and I'd like to talk to you about selling my house." And so that just speaks to the know, like, and trust, or because it came from other members of the family,
Right.
which is
So think
nice.
about the more of, less of, start doing, and maybe being more authentic and posting more photos of you personally, or things that you're doing, instead of like the third party stuff that may be coming over into social. I would say be more authentic. I think you'll, if you do that, you're going to find this magic of this engagement and relationships, and, even being more active on social in a smart way by engaging, commenting with those, your sphere and the people that you absolutely love doing business with. So
Right.
making those connections and those relationships versus just, you know,
Just grabbing people out there that you don't even know, and that you're having to interview with, which is great. I mean, I'm glad that buyers and sellers interview agents, but sometimes they still don't know you, and it's hard to get that connection. One of the things I always say to a buyer or a seller is, we have to be able to feel like we're vibing and on the same page,
Yep.
um, to be able to get this done, because it's a very close relationship for at least a month, at minimum a month, but could be 6 months, could be. I had people for 3 years. They would come, they were snowbirds, and every snowbird year we'd look, and we didn't find what they wanted, and on the third season we finally found what they wanted. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's funny.
I
So
know.
think about knowing what you know now, by all the reflections, by all the homework that we've done, so that you can
Yep.
do that. And then what does your day look like? Do you have some sort of a routine? I mean, I know I've said it over and over. I kind of have my power hour. I'm usually up, 5:30. I'm kind of working my power hours like 6 to 8 in the morning because it's nice and quiet. I don't have, the phone's not going off, the messages, the emails, and by 9, my regular day starts, but I get more done in those 2 hours than I do the entire day
Yeah.
together. And that's really kind of setting myself up and getting my work done or what I need to do. So think about your schedule and what you do every day that may be like a routine, exercising, your health and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's always I have a person who's kind of helping me get my health thing in order. And it's she's even said even if it's just take starting with baby steps for a morning routine exercise or at lunchtime, take 10 minutes and just stretch. It doesn't have to be lifting weights or anything crazy, but just do stretching because that relieves the stress, you know. So
So
oh, this
think
is a good one though, because somebody said this to me the other day that I'm looking at. Are you looking at your hot sheet? Somebody said to me the other day, I've gotten out of looking at the hot sheet every day, and I need to get back into that. And now, when I first started in real estate, it was after the books. So when I first bought my first house, it was the real estate books. But when I started in real estate, we had the internet and the MLS on the internet, but it wasn't live. So you would have to download every morning. So you wouldn't get new listings throughout the day. Everything would be ready for download by 8 a.m. and then you'd have all the new hot sheet. Now the hot sheet is evolving all day long. It can, so are you checking it multiple times? But you get into a good daily routine. I'm good at it and then I'm bad at it. And then I'm good at it and then I'm bad at it. So are you doing a power hour? We have a 5-5-4-2 power hour. 5 calls or texts with past clients or your center of influence. 5 new conversations, new contacts. Those are easy. Go out. You're going to lunch. You're going to the grocery store. You may be at the gas station. You're pumping gas. You are in the parking lot. Somebody was leaving another office and I was getting ready to come in here. And that person said hello. And I probably should have found a way to engage them, in some way. 4 lead follow-up conversations. So make sure you're following up with those leads, even if it is someone who says, oh, my mother might be ready to sell, calling that person. And then make sure you're doing 2 social posts. And if you haven't tried video, try video. And make sure you're doing, I generally, my social is Facebook, Instagram, and not Twitter, LinkedIn. And I don't do LinkedIn every day. I don't do Instagram every day, but I do Facebook every day. So make sure you're kind of reaching out there in different areas. And Karen's saying she's sorry to hear about your surgery, Heather.
Yeah, that gets to be my Christmas. That's on Christmas Eve.
Heather's having ACL surgery. So
yeah, not looking forward to that, but
no,
I could have had it done sooner, but I have all my family coming in on the 10th of December for my son's 21st birthday. And I can at least hop along now. I can
right.
kind of get along.
Once you have the surgery, you're going to be down.
I'll be out. So I'm like, I am not ruining that. Like that poor kid, graduation 2020. Like I'm I am not missing. It is my baby, my firstborn turning 21. So we're doing the whole Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge. So everyone's coming up for a weekend and I'm like, I can't do anything until after that. So it gets to be Christmas Eve, which that'll be interesting, but hopefully people kind of have time off. So they'll be able to help me do dishes. And
there you go. So now let's take a look at our marketing and you're going to break it down. You're going to break it down by the month and make sure, like
this is my favorite.
This
and I'm always saying that and all these, this is my favorite. It's my doing done. I say add 3 things every single month block. So it's baby steps. So a lot of mine will be different, 1 video a month that may be a tutorial of some sort that I'm building my content library. And that way it's, by the end of the year, that's 12 new videos I have for kind of evergreen content that'll be on YouTube. It'll live on blog posts, social, whatever it may be that I can repurpose and reuse. So think about, if you're looking into getting video, it doesn't have to be professional. It doesn't have, just baby steps. It's progress, not perfection.
Right.
I'd also say adding in, that first quarter, adding in first, if you're with Remax, if you're not already doing that, really diving into that and spending time to kind of organize those contacts in your
Yeah.
database. Maybe, using Photofy or Megaphone, or, just one tool a month that you could add into all these different things that you want to do, but baby step it so
Yeah.
it's not overwhelming, and make sure it's not all about business. Make sure you're adding in your personal goals of what you want to do, whether it be, vacation or, kind of remodels, all of that kind of stuff, health, maybe some goals on that, your taxes, of course, to make, some of that stuff that may not be fun, but you have to do it, put it on here. That way you only have 3 things that you need to tackle every single month, which is very doable, and I think it makes it more practical where you're not overwhelming yourself.
Right. Right. For sure. That's one of the things I struggle with. And then work on your schedule. Work on time blocking. And this schedule isn't. You don't have to stick to it specifically, but this is a good example of what your schedule should look like in time blocking. Make sure you're making time for your family. And it's funny, I read this in a lot of the groups on Facebook. I read one recently where, oh my gosh, this client fired me because I said I was at my son's soccer game, or it was something more than that. But I don't lie, but I don't ever say I'm at my son's soccer game. I always
Have
say
another appointment.
I already have another appointment at that time. Can we do it at this time? Because the minute they think you're not paying attention to them, they want to move on to someone else. And
I mean, that is the crazy thing about the business in itself. But no, you have another appointment. For me, if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. So if it's something that has to do with, family, we actually have a shared family calendar. So whenever we plan our, vacations and stuff, I time block, I put it on there so no one can even set up an appointment. Everybody knows where everybody's at, if it's, doctors or just family stuff.
yep.
But it's super important. And if it's not on my calendar, it probably doesn't exist, but everything's on there so that it's time blocked. There's no kind of questions asked. It makes my life a lot easier.
Exactly. And then sometimes you can juggle and rearrange if you feel like something more important comes up, or just something, something as silly as my mother has a doctor's appointment and I already had something scheduled, and which is easier for me to change. Can I change the doctor's appointment, or should I change the thing that I've scheduled, And this is always evolving, but at least block it out so that you have times of, your morning power hour, or showing property, or, working on marketing, whatever it is. Make sure you're doing it consistently.
And for me, that's why I like doing it 6 to 8 in the morning,
Because you
almost
don't
7
get
days a week,
bothered.
because
Yeah.
nobody's really on Saturday. Like, I don't sleep in on the weekends. Like, I don't need an alarm clock. My body just gets up.
Yep.
I'm glad it's finally adjusted to the time change, because I really hate it when I'm up working at 4.
Yep.
But for me, that's, it is hard to time block during the day and to schedule those. So I'm working on like the marketing element stuff that I can be doing. That's what I'm doing 6 to 8, because nobody's expecting business or whatnot. And if I do get up in the middle of the night and I'm sending emails, I'm scheduling those emails. Like, I love that. I can schedule.
Oh, I'm huge on scheduling the emails now. You probably know that because you'll get hit with a bunch of them you're going to get hit with one at about 10:15, I think, that I wrote over the weekend.
But to me, I like that, because I may be up working at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to work. So I certainly wouldn't want that person to be awake and try to call me.
And to feel like they should be working too. Well, and I try not to send you stuff over the weekend because I, enjoy your weekend. You don't need me bugging you.
I try not to check my email. So, but if somebody texts or, something like that, I do try to stay away from my email, because I know it's going to bring me into my office and to start working. And then that like starts this whole thing. So I do try not to check my emails on the weekends just so that I have kind of me time, I guess.
As we're concluding to the end of our business planning, like I always hate the end of the business planning. Like, oh, we're done. Like,
But I get excited because, of course, I don't do all the homework. But
me neither. Me neither. I've been writing as we've been on the
But this is, of course, you have to do your business expenses. That's when I find all the kind of loopholes of all this money I'm going to be saving. This is, I mean, it was a game changer in 2020 for me because I do have all these things. And when the world kind of stopped and it was unlike anything we've ever been through before, this was my go-to. What can I be doing on here? And that was really my saving grace for staying active and not, because it was so easy to be consumed and still is. And right now it's super easy to be consumed with all the crazy that's going on. But this allows me to kind of stay focused in what I told myself I'd be doing. And of course, things will always change because the market's always changing. I mean, just everything changes. But this to me is the most important part about setting up the roadmap to my goals.
Yeah.
This is basically my breakdown to break it all down and how I'm going to achieve it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and even like here, it says, hang on, let me go back, marketing plan by month. Maybe it's not all marketing. Maybe it's some other goal that you need to put in there because.
Because why does it say marketing plan? It should just be like business plan.
Yeah.
Because marketing, I have my kitchen remodel.
Do you have your kitchen remodel on here?
Yeah. So no, I don't. That'll be changed for next year for sure. Because no, it's not really marketing. It's going to be everything. I mean, it could be, I'm organizing different things for, the office website. I
right.
It's going through my YouTube channels and adding the end cards and making sure the thumbnails all match. I mean, it's just little things like that. Right now, it's going through, we set up the podcast, but I had no idea what I was doing. So I'm kind of reorganizing that. So it has the season, the episode for each title. I mean, just little things like that. That's all on here. And it's just little things that I want to accomplish each month. And you got to think, if you have 3 things times 12, I mean, that's 36 things that you're adding to your business for the year.
Right.
So, and you're baby stepping it and not overwhelming because you want to get all of this stuff done.
Right. Right.
So it's like you doing done. And I'm taking away the marketing because bathroom remodel is this week. And I'm crossing everything to make sure it goes smoothly because I do not want to have to use my kids' bathroom any longer than I absolutely have to. So keep your fingers crossed for me, for sure. Oh my goodness. And then I think that was it, right? Yeah. And of course, if you have any questions on anything that we've covered, you know how to find us. We have, we're on a website, we are on Facebook, we have the private group for Elevate 2022. We're here to help. However, ask away, ask any questions.
Exactly.
Of anything. If you want to see what I've done on my crazy chicken scratch, we're happy to share and help. We have another episode for next week. And then that'll be it for we take December off. We'll be playing our reruns of our most downloaded podcast, live cast, whatever you want to call these things that we do. So we're super excited.
So next week will be live, and then we'll come back in January with more live content, and hopefully.
Absolutely. So of course, any suggestions, ideas on topics that you want us to cover, we're all ears because that's what we work on in December. Is working on, our content.
2022.
Yeah,
2022.
That seems so crazy.
I know.
But it's all good. So we hope everyone has an amazing Thanksgiving. Full of gratitude. It's a little different, I think, than last year. So hopefully it'll be even better. And I can't wait for 2022 and to put all of the stuff that we've done in the last 4 weeks all together so that the vision board and all of that can come to fruition.
Exactly. All right.
So until next week, wake up, kick ass, and repeat. Thank you for watching.